Alright, in this video, I'm breaking down one of my favorite types of workouts, 10 by 400 meters. I'm going to go through my actual Strava data, warm-up, drill, intervals, pace graphs, and heart rate, and talk about what this says about my fitness and what I change next time. If you like this kind of Strava breakdown, make sure to subscribe because I'll be posting more training analysis and progress videos. First, here's the warm-up. I ran 1.46 miles in 10:08, which comes out to a 6:55 pace, with an average heart rate around 150 and a max of 168. The splits tell the story. Mile 1 was 7:11, and the last 0.4 sped up to 6:18, so it's basically a progressive warm-up. I start controlled, then let the pace naturally drop as my legs wake up. The Athlete Intelligence Summary even calls it a quick warm-up run with a strong progression, which matches how it felt. For a quality workout day, I like this. Not jogging too slow, but not going crazy before the main set. Next is this little drill. It's labeled slow, medium, fast times 3. Distance is 0.89 miles at 7:34 pace with an average heart rate of 148 and a max of 158. This is basically me dialing in different gears, easing into a slower pace, then medium, then faster, and repeating that pattern 3 times. The grade adjusted pace is almost identical at 7:33, and the heart rate stays pretty controlled, which means I'm not burning too much energy before the main session. So by this point, legs are warm, stride feels snappy, but I'm not tired yet. That's exactly where you want to be before intervals. Now we get into the main event, the 10 by 400 workout. Strava shows 3.27 miles total in 2026 at 6:14 average pace, with average heart rate around 150 and a max of 164. Inside that 3.27 miles are the actual 400 meter reps plus the recoveries. Athlete Intelligence describes it as 10 by 400 meter intervals at around 5:30 per mile pace, progressively getting faster with each split. So the overall average pace looks like 6:14, but the working reps themselves are much quicker. Let's look at the splits in the pace graph. Over the full 3.27 miles, the mile splits are 6:18, 6:15, 6:12, and the final 0.2 at 6:05 pace. So every mile chunk of the workout gets just a little bit faster. That's exactly what you want to see in a good interval session. Controlled at the start, then tightening the screws each repeat instead of blowing up early. The pace graph looks like a saw. Sharp spikes where I'm running the 400s and dips where I'm running the recoveries. The important thing here is that the spikes are pretty even, that they're not all over the place. The later reps trend slightly faster, which tells me I judged the effort well and still had something left. If those spikes were random, really fast early and then slower later, that would mean poor pacing. Here it's clear I eased in and then built through the workout. Now, the heart rate graph is just as important. You can see it rising into the 140s and 150s during the reps, then dipping a bit into the recoveries, but overall staying pretty steady, with an average of 150 and a max of 164. For 10 by 400, that tells me a few things. I'm working hard but not absolutely maxing out. The recoveries are long enough or easy enough that my heart rate has time to drop a bit between reps. I'm training in a strong aerobic and early anaerobic zone, good for speed endurance and VO2 style work. If the heart rate just kept climbing with no drop, that would mean the workout is more like a long continuous tempo. Instead, this really is classic interval work. Surge, recover, surge again. So, what actually went well in this workout? First, the progression. The miles and the reps get slightly faster as I go, which shows I didn't go out like a bomber basically. I left room to build. Second, the heart rate control. Average 150 with the max in the mid 160s for 10 hard reps, which means I could probably handle a bit more volume or slightly faster paces in a few weeks. If I were to change anything, I'd look at the recoveries. The pace graph shows some of these dips pretty low, which might mean I was jogging a bit too slowly between reps. Shortening or slightly quickening the recovery jogs would make the workout more race specific. I could also target a clearer pace range for the reps, like aiming for consistent 5:30 to 5:35 per mile effort instead of just fast. Overall, this 10 by 400 session tells me my speed endurance is heading in the right direction, and my aerobic base is strong enough to support repeated hard efforts without my heart rate going crazy. If you enjoyed this kind of deep dive into Strava data, hit the like button and subscribe. I'm going to keep posting more workout breakdowns and progress updates. And let me know in the comments what intervals you hate the most, 200s, 400s, 800s, or mile. I'll read and respond to as many as I can.